the drug. I just spent some cash on the bigger ring. Just miss.
Hi, my name is Wilkin Brutus, and you're watching Oogie Woogie
with Danny Chunk.
Yeah. So Patrick Ryan from USA Today recently published an article about hip hop's dominance in 2015. Are you shocked about hip hop's dominance in 2015?
Not really. I think it's pretty evident in the charts, and if you listen to the radio, and if you just pay attention to pop culture, hip hop is in one of the best places it's ever been, probably. And a lot of purists and naysayers will say it's not, because they're more attached to the 90s nostalgic sound, but music is constantly changing, and hip hop is a young man's game, whether they like it or not, and they just want to hold on to that. But there's a new sound, and it's a new wave, and it's adapted to the new sound of pop, and there's a lot of overlapping nowadays, and that's worked in hip hop's favor of making it one of the leading movers of the pop culture.
Right. And the article obviously talked about music production aspect for consumption, but the piece obviously doesn't talk about artist-owned platforms.
Sure.
So when I think of artist-owned platforms and artists doing it themselves, I think of Master P and Tech Nine. Master P back in the days sold records out of his trunk, owned his masters,
right,
and basically did a strategic partnership with distributors and pretty much owned 80% of his profits.
Exactly.
Nowadays, what do you think about artists owning their means of production? In a sense?
Like you said, Master P is pretty much the blueprint and the reference points of that, owning your masters and becoming your own businessman, and doing exactly what you need to do to have the most profit coming your way. Nowadays, like you said, Tech Nine is the independent new age version of that, and he's almost
like New Cash Money too.
Exactly, and his name might not even be a household name, but his bank account won't say that. He's because he owns every bit of it, even if he's not in that bigger circle of artists, as you might say. But nowadays, with the advent of the internet, you don't have to sell out your trunk anymore. YouTube is your trunk.
Yeah.
Bandcamp is your trunk. SoundCloud is your trunk. You have all these avenues to reach your fan base and your customer base, and it's just on a way larger scale now. So there's no real excuse for you not to be an independent artist. And maybe eventually you have to hit that major label route and that major distribution route to reach that next level. But in the beginning, you have to hit that independent route, and you're not going to get a look from any of the labels if you don't have your own following and your fan base ready. So you got to hit those avenues.
And I mentioned Tech Nine as being similar to Cash Money. Cash Money Records, by Baby, Lil Wayne, they pretty much went the same exact route as Master P. Owning their masters and just creating partnerships with distributors.
Right.
What do you think about, you're an artist, obviously, you're a rap artist. What do you think about artists, and not just rap artists in particular, but artists from all mediums, having an over fondness for art itself, but just not being, business savvy?
Sure. Right? Especially in hip hop, there's a certain pressure put on the artist to not be a rapper, be a trapper, not be a businessman, be a businessman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of importance put on that, but at the same time, the art and business are very opposite ends of the spectrum. It's creativeness going against a business and logistics and stuff like that. And some people can do it all. Jay-Z is all that, but some artists are not all that, and you don't have to be. So if you're not that and you're not business savvy, then maybe stay away from signing that deal right away and handing in that contract. Hire a CPA, hire an entertainment lawyer, so you can do the right things and make the right moves that are in your favor and not in the corporate favor.
And I think Bobby Shmurda has a lot to learn about that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we talk about how money can be, exchanged in the community better.
Sure.
I think for young rappers who see their way out, signing with a distribution like L.A. Reid really quickly can work against you in that case, especially if the contract doesn't work in your best interest as an artist.
Absolutely, and that might have been a more self-conscious type thing, because he definitely had a hit on his hands, and Bobby knew he had a hit on his hands. He might have not had that much confidence in himself because he wasn't a seasoned artist. But he had that, smash single at the time. But on the other end of the spectrum, they had, Drake, where he had a So Far Gone, which was, an established project, and he had that confidence in himself as an artist because he's, paid his dues. He's you know, shaped his craft. He's honed his craft. So he was confident he could put out, you know, 5, 10 albums if he needed to. But
well, he's six God. He's a god.
Right. and Bobby, you know, he had that smash hit. He didn't know, maybe he wasn't confident if he was gonna have that smash hit again, and then he got hit with these numbers and these contracts out of nowhere, and he felt like this opportunity might not come again, so he had to take that. But you know, if you hone your craft, if you believe in yourself, if you know your creativity can take you further, then maybe you can pass on that deal and have more leverage.
Right. Leverage is the key word.
Right. If you don't have money, then have leverage.
So when we talk about creating your art, establishing your distribution, creating strategic partnerships, you can have your own imprint, right? Streaming is the new thing now. And artists like Taylor Swift and Prince, they've created some controversy because of their stances against certain streaming platforms, because, you know, it can be a little bit of cultural vulturing here and there. Sure. You know, Aloe Black, for example, only made $4,000 out of what, 168 million streams?
Right.
What are your thoughts about streaming?
Right, and I think the numbers are even more skewed in Taylor Swift, because Taylor Swift is like the biggest pop artist there is, and the numbers were incredible, and she only made, like you said, a couple $1,000s off those plays or whatever. And I think it's because streaming is so relatively new that you know, the corporations feel like they can, you know, be leeches and suck the life out of these artists without them knowing, because they're so unfamiliar with that business model as of now. But as artists get more savvy and more, you know, introduced to these platforms and understand what's going on there, they maybe, if they get together and unionize in some type of way and have that type of leverage where they can talk to these platforms, say, hey, we're not gonna let you play our music unless you give us, right? And that is, you know, the 4-letter word for these corporations.
Right, it's like blasphemy for them.
Exactly. And but if they, you know, create a community where they say, hey, you can't use our music without, you know, our permission, and you have to give us X amount, you know, so much
in order to move forward.
In order to move forward, because at the end of the day, these corporations can't work without your music, you know, without these artists and their talent. And so these artists have to recognize their value and, you know, flex that.
Man, so it's kind of hard to compare and contrast the music industry with societal money issues. It's kind of hard because it almost conflates the two. Sure. So the moral of this story, the moral of having hip hop be the sort of popular barometer of music, is as an artist, you should own your masters. Right. If you can't own your distribution company, create strategic partnerships so that you own your masters and get at least 80%, like Master P did, of your gross profits.
Right.
So own your music, own yourself.
Understand your value.
And hip hop will be safe from the culture vultures.
There you go.
You're watching Oogie Woogie and you already know.
Bigger than